Hello, my name is Graham Hatfull. I'm a professor at the University of Pittsburgh and a Howard Hughes Medical Institute professor. Over a number of years in which I've been privileged to be a research scientist, I've had a number of conversations with colleagues as to what it takes to be a successful research scientist in the life sciences. And the one thing that I've heard over and over again is that there really is just one single attribute which is really critical. And it has nothing to do with how excellently you've performed academically in the classroom, what your scores look like on standardized tests, the particular learning style or the way you think, or even the technical prowess that you may have in working at the lab, at the bench. All of those things may help and may be useful. But the one thing that I think that you really absolutely have to have is curiosity. You have to be interested in asking questions about the things that you don't know and that we collectively don't know about science. And you have to be willing and interested to go out and try to seek the answers to those questions. And so many other attributes may contribute, but if you don't have curiosity, I think it's really hard to engage in a productive and an active way in doing and contributing to science. The problem, however, is that whilst curiosity is really a critical facility to have, not everybody who's curious gets the opportunity to engage in scientific research, or even to explore as to whether doing science and discovering new things is something that they are well suited to. And so I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about providing opportunities and taking advantage of opportunities to engage in scientific research. For myself, my experiences were rooted in the opportunities that I was fortunate enough to have as an undergraduate student at Westfield College in the University of London. Westfield College was a small college with relatively few research active faculty. I went to study biological sciences, and I was sort of quite interested in the idea of scientific research, but it seemed as though this was an enterprise that was way beyond my capabilities as a rather average student, academically speaking. I had seen pictures and reports in the media, in newspapers, of the brilliant scientists and the incredibly mind-boggling discoveries that they had made and that were reported. And I was fairly sure that I was unlikely to be able to do the kind of work that these people were doing. But most importantly, I was provided an opportunity to try it out, to give it a go. Specifically, there was a faculty member at Westfield College called Dr. Peter Fay, who investigated the mechanisms by which heterocysts, a specialized kind of cell that you find in blue-green algae, how it fixes nitrogen from the atmosphere. And I had an opportunity to go and rather sheepishly talk to Dr. Fay, who then gave me this project to do electron microscopy to explore the ultrastructural changes that are associated with how heterocysts differentiate from vegetative cells. So I was able to do this and to seize this opportunity as an undergraduate researcher and to spend time during the academic year, but also during the whole of my summers. In 2 summers I spent at Westfield College doing this research project. I confess I was supported on a rather small amount of money from the state, and I consumed rather a large number of cheese sandwiches on a regular basis, which fortunately I actually quite like. But I was able to spend this dedicated time finding out whether doing scientific research was something that I could do, an enterprise I could contribute to, and it turned out to be a very important opportunity that was given to me and that I was able to hopefully take advantage of. it certainly facilitated the next opportunity that was presented to me, which was to go to graduate school to study for a PhD, which I did studying with Dr. Willie Donachie in the University of Edinburgh. And I think I really got that position as a PhD student largely predicated upon the work that I had done as an undergraduate researcher at Westville College. The third key opportunity for me was in being able to come to the States to work with Nigel Grinley at Yale University. And again, I think the early opportunities that I had to try doing research as an undergraduate really opened up those doors, not only for the PhD, but for the postdoctoral research and even a faculty position beyond that. These opportunities that have benefited me, I think, enormously, have had, I think, considerable influence on my thinking about what I can do and what I can contribute, what opportunities I can offer as a scientific researcher. About 10 years ago, we developed a program at the University of Pittsburgh called the Phage Hunters Integrating Research and Education Program, in which we have developed bacteriophage discovery and genomics as a platform whereby novice scientists, undergraduates, high school students, really anybody who is curious but doesn't have any prior experience of doing research, to be able to come into the lab, to do some science, to isolate and discover new viruses, to sequence their genomes and understand about the processes of viral diversity and evolutionary mechanisms through their own personal experiences. I think that what's really very satisfying to me about this process is that we've really by luck stumbled upon this platform in which students from all backgrounds, irrespective of their other credentials, can enter into the scientific process and can be and their activities can be fueled by features of project ownership, essentially a sense of identity with the new viruses that they're discovering. Scientific discovery is, in and of itself, extremely enticing and a motivating activity. And by developing a program which enables students to start with very tangible beginnings and then to progress from these more concrete types of starts through greater technical complexity and indeed through much more abstract forms of thinking right the way through to understanding and interpreting the abstract concepts of numbers and letters coming out of a computer and making scientific sense of that information. This transition provides a platform for people and students who are curious and want to find out whether this is an enterprise that they can contribute to works really well. And I'm really delighted that this sense of providing opportunities now has been expanded through the Science Education Alliance at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute to a large number of schools and universities across the United States, where freshman students can now begin to tap into these opportunities to find out whether research is for them, whether they have an aptitude for it, whether they enjoy doing it, and whether this can be for them also a gateway to further engagement as creative and innovative research scientists. I think it's very important for us as scientists to provide these so that we can have a flourishing and diverse and very productive next generation of research scientists. I think that the possibilities for research scientists, faculty members and investigators at various institutions of higher education to provide these opportunities is largely undertapped. It's quite common for faculty members to have undergraduate students, for example, come and do individual projects in their labs, perhaps supervised by a graduate student or a postdoc, activities that are invariably very that are very supportive for the students, and they provide real opportunities. The problem is there's a large number of students who don't really know what doing science is, they have no way of really knowing what's involved to do research science, and they have no way of knowing whether they can do it. And so I think there's a wealth of possibilities that research scientists can and should explore in order to find ways to have students engaged in research in their lab. A lot depends, I think, on finding the right kind of project. A project where you can engage a reasonable number of students, where you can have peer mentorship so they can teach each other, and where students can engage in authentic scientific research with hopefully publishable data as a way of gaining experience, no matter what the topic is or where the faculty member is conducting that research. So I hope you've enjoyed this iBio magazine's segment. I strongly encourage you, if you're a student, to go out there and take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you. If you're curious and have an interest in engaging in scientific research, and if you're an investigator or a faculty member, I would implore you to find ways to present those opportunities so that you can help to fuel the next generation of research scientists here and around the world. Thank you.